But what turned me around was feeding my mind. What I mean by that is about a year earlier, I'd gone to this seminar by Jim Rohn. I know many of you have heard of Jim. He's no longer alive, passed some years ago, but he was a mentor of mine. And I went to a seminar with 17. And in the seminar, he really talked about the importance of feeding your mind. And you've got to feed it because otherwise things come at you. And so I remember I took the little bit of change I had left in my pocket and I got on a bus and I drove, they drove me anyway on the bus for about, I don't know, it's about an hour's away from where I was because I'd been to this place once before, had this amazing bookstore. And I figured I'll go in there and I'll just read a bunch of books while I'm in there because they can't afford any. And then I picked up a book called The Magic of Believing by Claude M. Bristol. And in this book, it talked about training and conditioning your mind and how what goes in your mind becomes the experience of your life and how to do it. And I was so depressed, I didn't know what to do. And so I went and I'll never forget, I went back to this little laundry room and there was a mirror there. And the book said, put your goals on the mirror so you look through your own eyes into your goals and you see in your own eyes and you read those goals. Do it with soap. And so I did it in the mirror. And then I made these little posters that said things like, only a loser is depressed. Now that's not true. But I felt like I'm not a loser, and that was the leverage I had, right? I can't be depressed if the losers are depressed. And so I just try to work on everything. But gradually I started turning my life around and I did 5 things and I did them again. I got to tell you, multiple times in my life when I hit really bad places, when I was told I had a tumor in my brain and that, I might die, when I buried all 4 of my fathers over the course of a year and a half and my mother. Those are rough times. They start to shift you. When 2008 happened and looked like everything was going under. And I went back and I reapplied them here at the beginning of the pandemic as well. So they're really simple. But first, of the 5 keys to transform your life, I don't care where you are, how great it is, if you can get to the next level, the first step is stand guard at the door of your mind. And I got that from my teacher, Jim Rohn. I remember he came to me one day and I was really frustrated. I was saying, I'm working so hard and nothing's really working and I don't understand it. And I was super frustrated. And remember, he came to me and he said, Tony, he said, listen to me. He said, tell me what are you reading? He said, tell me who you're talking to. He said, tell me who you're surrounding yourself with. And I said, well, I'm mostly isolated by myself. And I said, but I'm so frustrated. He goes, listen to me. He said, answer this question for me. He said, what happens in the world if, let's say, your worst enemy comes by and drops sugar in your coffee? And I said, well, you'd have sweet coffee. He said, well, what if your best friend, even by accident, drops 1 drop of strychnine? What if it's your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, somebody you love, accidentally drops 1 drop of strychnine? I said, well, then you'd be dead. He goes, that's right. So remember, life is both sugar and strychnine, so watch your coffee. And what he really meant was stand guard at the door of your mind. Because today, we live in a world where the media, they're not bad people, they're good people, but they're companies. And they got to take care of their shareholders. And the only way they win is by getting your eyeballs. And the only way they get your eyeballs in a world where there's so much information is to startle you. The news is not designed to educate you or inform you. You know that. That's why it says drinking water may kill you. Film at 11. Anything that grabs you. And so we're living in a culture of so much fear. So if you're going to take your life back, you got to take and do a limited amount of that media and be able to pursue it, not let it pursue you. Today, most people, in order to get your attention, we all know what they do. It's called clickbait. Let me create a headline that'll grab you. It doesn't matter if the content is even real news or not. A lot of times the headline isn't really what the whole story is, but it pulls you in. There's whole groups of people whose entire life is designing algorithms and language to make you stay online more so they can make more money, but it isn't necessarily to your advantage. So what Jim Rohn used to say to me is, he said, Tony, this is your new daily practice. Because this is what I really want to get to you guys here is if you want to keep momentum, if you've joined me for those few days there, the 5-6 days or 7, I guess we did for the challenge, or you went immersion with me as well. The key is to get momentum and keep momentum.
Every morning you start your day. Sometimes you tend to think about what you did yesterday. You think about what you could have done, what you should have done, but it didn't turn out the way you wanted it. You start getting into an abyss of self-hate. Now that sounds pretty harsh for some people, but there are a lot of people right now that are going through this experience in their lives. They don't seem to love themselves anymore. They feel hopelessness. They feel lost. They feel that no one cares about them, and that they're the only one in the world that exists. I'm here to let you know right now, you have to turn it back up again. You got to get into a position where you start to realize that if you don't love yourself, then no one will love you. And you have to stop depending on chasing people to love you. How can you receive love if you don't give yourself enough love within yourself? How can you understand what it means to love if you don't love yourself within? Forget it. You've had some hard times. I understand it. It's been a tough road for you. But I want you to think for a moment. Do you really have it that bad? Are you really going through so much in your life that the other person that you may have met that's just down the road from you, that may have crossed your path, and maybe they didn't even look your way? But did it ever come across your mind that maybe they're going through a lot more than you going through right now in your life? But they understand that, hey, I still got to love myself.
When you are trying to get to the next level and you can see where you're trying to get to, there is a ceiling that you have to break through. But in order to get to the next level is because you can see what you want to become. But the only reason you can see the next level is because this ceiling is made of glass. In order to get to the next level, you must be willing to break through the glass. Anytime you break through glass, you are going to get cut. You are going to bleed. And in order to get to the next level, you are going to have to give up something that you care about. You cannot take everything with you. Everybody come with you can't go with you. See, all your friends, they can't go to the next level because they'll get up there with you, and the way they behave, they'll mess it up for you. So when you go through the glass ceiling, you have to be willing to get cut. The cut is going to put some bruises and blood. But that's the only way to get to the next level. I understood that. I knew that I could not remain the same and change. You got to grow. You can't hang out with everybody you've been hanging out with to go to the next level. You can't do everything you used to do. If you do that, you'll never grow. You got to be willing to listen. If I had to leave my family didn't get it. Go ahead. My family didn't get it. You know, they thought, Steve, you're going to go tell jokes. That's stupid. You can't make a living telling jokes. Any idea how much I've made telling jokes? So I had to let my family go. It was a time when my family wasn't even talking to me. Stupid. Quit your job, leave your family, pursue your dreams. What you want me to do? My family wasn't supporting them. I got to cut my family loose. It's okay. Oh, they all love me now. Because I help all of them. I'm the youngest one in my family. I only had 2 older brothers and 2. My youngest brother is 11 years older than I am. My oldest brother died. I'm the youngest one in my family. I take care of my whole family. Everybody get a check every month. But I forgave them. They didn't know. They had no idea. They didn't know. You don't even call us no more. Hell, what are we going to talk about? You don't believe in what I'm doing? So why would I keep calling you? Why you still out there telling them damn jokes? You'll see. You'll see. And now they all see.
There's nothing more rewarding than helping someone else move forward. You can't give God something that He won't give you more back in return. You give your faith, God will give you more faith. You give your time to help others, God will give you more time. You give your encouragement, and God will keep you encouraged. I saw a lady that was fighting cancer. She and her husband are very good people. For years, she's been the one helping others, always had a smile, an encouraging word. The last few months, she'd been in the hospital, very sick from the treatment. Her hair was gone. She was very thin. She told how she always quoted scripture, prayed and believed, but she got to where she was so weak, she couldn't do it. She felt badly about it, like she didn't have enough faith. She was very honest. She said, God, if I have to quote these scriptures and pray for my healing, then I'm not going to make it. I don't have the strength. She was looking out the window. There was this big, white, puffy cloud. She heard God speak to her, not out loud, but down in her spirit. He said, you don't have to pray. That cloud you're looking at, it's full of all the prayers from your friends and family that have gone up for you. When she heard that, she felt a release, like she could relax. She knew she had friends that were fighting for her. Sometimes you need borrowed faith. When you're too discouraged, too tired, been through too much, that's okay. God will have friends with faith that are there for you. Someone to call you to let you know that they're praying. Someone to come visit you with an encouraging word. Someone to go to God on your behalf. Their prayers will touch heaven for you. I don't know if you need a friend today. You feel like you don't have faith for yourself, or God has you hearing this to remind you to be a friend with faith. To not just have faith for yourself, but let someone borrow your faith. Reach out to that coworker that's discouraged. Go visit that neighbor that went through a loss. Maybe it's a relative. They've given up on their dreams. They've seen doors closed. Now they don't believe anymore. God is counting on you to be a friend with faith. Step in and believe for them while they can't believe. Speak victory into their life. Remind them that God is still on the throne, that what He started, He's going to finish. You can be the one that pushes them past the discouragement, that lifts them back on their feet, that causes the Creator of the universe to shine down favor, healing, and victory. Will you let someone borrow your faith? Will you stand in the gap while they're off course, not making good decisions? It's easy to criticize, find fault. Why are they doing that? They should know better. If not for the grace of God, that could be us. They don't need your judgment. They need your faith.